Drag Race.
Hey, kitty girls, it's June 11th, 2020, and it's Cubs Out Loud Drag Race T-Time, children. And best part ever is that it is All Stars Season 5, Episode number 1, a.k.a. All Star Variety Extravaganza.
Yes!
New theme, new colors, new stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get to some of the
So
other
pretty.
I know we'll get to some other new stuff momentarily, but yeah. So for those of you that don't know, there are two fabulous co-star hosts here. There happens to be myself. I'm Gary, and with me over here is.
Hi, everyone. It's Damon. Welcome.
So we are going to talk about episode 1 of the new All Stars 5. I'm not even going to bother with it. Just spoilers, children. Like, we're just going to talk about it. And by the time we record and get this show out there, you'll probably already be on to the next week's episode. But
I mean, next week's episode is tomorrow, so...
I'm going to talk to Jeff about, like, pushing both out on the same day instead of, like, spacing them apart. And just make it, like, patrons can get the full version or, the public can get the regular.
We'll see.
All right.
Here we go.
So, you ready to jump into our first section?
Yes.
Okay.
Gentlemen, start your engines, and may the best woman win.
All right, so put the pedal to the metal. In this episode, we have 2 challenges. We hit the road running, girl. We go straight into a mini, and then there is a maxi challenge later. The mini, right out the gate, is the infamous reading challenge. The library is open.
I have no idea what that means.
So for those of you that cannot see, David has a fabulous T-Fury. I think it's T-Fury, right?
It's T-Turtle.
T-Turtle, that's what it is. Shirt. It's a lovely sky blue, and it has a unicorn on it who is wearing spectacles, and he has a book open. There's a big, gorgeous, sparkly rainbow behind him, and below it says, "The library is open." Yes.
I love this shirt.
Incredibly appropriate.
So, yeah. Go ahead, T-Turtle, with your whatever. Anyway.
Getting all them gay dollars.
Apparently. And donating to charity. Like, that was one of the things. Like, buying the T-shirts, like, portions of the proceeds did go to gay charities, if I remember correctly. It may have been Trevor Project. But don't get me wrong. Don't quote me on that, because it's been a minute. And I didn't. I saw the shirt, and I wanted the shirt, and I had to justify it somehow because, unemployed. So, and it justified because there was a donation to charity. So,
there you go.
There we go.
Helping the children's.
Helping out the children's.
Speaking of the children's, David, what were your thoughts? Well, let me ask you this: like, can we divide out the mini and the maxi, or do we just want to group it all together?
We can kind of. Kind of. Okay. We can do both at the same time. I'm fine with doing combining them.
No,
I've kind of said some faves and some disasters, and it kind of goes to both, like the mini and the maxi. So our main challenge. In regards to like the reading challenge, I am and will always be a fan of Miss Jujubee because she is a killer when it comes to reading. She has always been one of my favorite queens overall, and especially when it comes to like the reading portion. And there were some very good hits from her. And believe it or not, like Blair St. Clair, like that girl surprised the fuck out of me.
I should take this fan and just make it a crown for her. Because like, she is hell-bent on shattering her previous image.
Exactly.
Of what people know of her, what they think of her. Her whole thing in this episode was like all different, including the reading challenge. Like, she read, what was it, Cracker, from the moment she walked into the entrance, because I think it was Cracker said something about, look at her, she thinks she all wet or something like that, and without missing a beat, Blair Saint characters around it is like, well, how did she phrase it? Isn't that the way your man
That's
likes it, or
that's
something?
that's what your man said last night.
Mm-hmm.
She is I mean, okay. So let's just put the kettle on and put some tea out. All Stars is all about like where you were and where you are.
Mm.
And for her, she got the kind of edit of the, goody good who's had some trauma and is trying to find the happiness and everything. And she did get out of her season, but since she's been off the show, like she's become if I'm not mistaken, please, let me know, face or wherever, like a like dance music like queen phenomenon. Her music, she always had been able to sing, but she's definitely going up there in the charts and like putting out music and just making all these great videos. And I was living for it. And then she comes back and she's kind of salty and I like it. Like I'm having some like good feelings about it. Like
Mm-hmm.
she's not quite the same, but she's definitely like improved.
Mm.
Um she's she's definitely aged well.
Well, my God, she was a baby the first time she was on. I mean, she was what 21 by the skin of her teeth, like,
Probably.
and it's only been 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
So she's still a skinny white bitch. I mean, she is still a model,
Uh-huh.
like
She, she
size.
she's giving me um Naomi Smalls vibes in a
Mm.
way.
Okay, okay.
Like not like oh my god, like they're so similar, but like a lot of what she like when she came in the workroom, her like orange kind of very modeled, no, breasticles having like body.
Mm.
It was very model-esque and sultry, which I've often gotten from Naomi.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people have given this, like, they've made this statement, and I'm not going to disagree with it. They felt she was delivering a lot of detox. She
Mm.
was given the wet hair, the bright, like, color, the cut design retro deal. Like, so, I mean, I ain't mad at it. Like, she pulled it
Mm-hmm.
off. She came in. I think the accessory of her whole entrance look was the glasses. They were these
Yes.
they were these great, like odd star shaped, like, I mean, it was just, she definitively, you know she's a woman, like, and that's all there is to it. Like, even out of drag, I'm kind of like, okay, girl, like, still girl, like she's, and her face,
Mm-hmm.
her head and her face seem to have gotten longer. Like, I don't know if she's
Mm-hmm.
still growing, but like I kind of noticed like her temples a lot more, and like her face seemed longer. Maybe it's her haircut in the confessionals, but yeah. So,
Yeah.
but
She's
yeah, she
25.
slayed a bit in the reading challenge.
For sure. And then, like, when I say some disasters, uh, I'm talking about like Derek, because there's some disaster in the reading,
Mm.
because she was kind of like, so there's reading, and then there's downright like
Mm-hmm.
cutting, going for the jugular kind of thing, which is you don't always want to go that far, and I feel that Derek has a tendency to go that far. um, and they're not like the whole point of it. Honestly, especially at this point in the game, like the very first episode, the kind of like fun point is like, yeah, we're gonna have some fun. Like this is not meant to be. Yes, this is a little cunte, but it's still in like tongue in cheek kind of in a way,
Mm-hmm.
but having a little, because it's reading and reading is fundamental. So
Mm-hmm.
da da da. There were a few others. I feel bad for Angina.
Oh,
Uh
all right. So let's just put this
oh.
out there.
Okay.
I personally love Angina. She has like one of the most charismatic personalities. She's
Mm-hmm.
incredibly fun. She's always like upbeat
Mm-hmm.
and like kind of draws you in.
Yeah.
That said, girl, come on. You campaigned to be on All Stars. Like for the past 2 or 3 years, you have been. I would love to be on All Stars. If they're going to ask me back, I just don't know what's going to happen.
Gentlemen,
Mm-hmm.
Sorry about that. And and so she and I knew who some of the people were going to be on All Stars the new season because they wouldn't shut up about it.
I mean, true.
Like I can't wait to be on. And I was like, oh, okay, girl. Haven't thought about you in a while. It's obvious you're probably going to be on. So, and Angina was talking about prior to being on the season about how she was advancing her look and she was trying to not do fascinators as much and blah blah blah. But she also said in some interviews that she wasn't sure how prepared she could be because she's from the OG. She is from the original season 1. She is from the Vaseline blurry filter. Like, she made such an impact in that season, and yet the game was so different then.
Yeah.
And it shows.
Mm-hmm.
I really hope not, but she's getting a BB Zahara Benet edit. Like, she's looking grandma-ish and out of touch. Like, and that breaks my heart because I like Angina a lot better than BB. And I'm just being honest about it. Like, I don't hate BB. I'm just not all that impressed with her. And she seems to be living in a literal world of her own. And Angina is just so fun. But yeah, this episode I was like,
I was not. I was
oh man.
like both in like the reading and in the like main challenge where they were performing, because it looked like to me she had an idea. So she had an idea for like the first 15 or 20 seconds, but it was a 90-second set. And it like that's what I felt like. And it showed so badly on camera that was kind of what was going on. And I like, oh, like Angina, honey, like you're one of the originals. Like you've had I hate saying, like, you've had the longest to like redeem and prepare and whatever. You've been a part of the game. You were there in like All Stars 1, not necessarily playing the game, but you were there. Remember? She was driving the car, the van that the queen, like 2 of the queens were getting ready in. So stuff. And I'm just a little surprised that this is what we got. I mean, I'm not really surprised. Let me be blunt. Like, she's always been great and really good, but I often wonder if she's getting we love her so much because she's so charismatic. Who else was bad? That sounds a little shady, cunty to me. Probably, maybe just a little bit. God, Mayhem, honey, darling, lovely, dear, like, how do I get it across? If you're going to do something like that, like a vocal rap kind of thing, the number one thing you have to get down is pronunciation. And it's not a loud like bar. So I can't fault the bar or the acoustics for being like difficult. You are on a microphone, so you don't really even have to talk like loud. You just have to talk enough to where you can hear what the words are and pronounce them so that I can hear what you're saying. And I get that you're going a little fast, but on that same token, if you're going to rap fast, you need to be able to say the words fast because otherwise it sounds like and that's not entertaining.
Mm.
And I understand I'm 40, but I got ears and I can hear. And I know RuPaul and all of them are a little older, but they also have ears and they can hear pretty good. I'm hoping. So yeah. It was literally like a bubble bursted.
Mm.
Like she hit and then ugh.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, her main stage, like, challenge piece in the variety show was confusing to me. It was
Mm-hmm.
very theatrical in the beginning, and then it just didn't deliver.
Mm-hmm.
And so here's what I say about Mayhem. Mayhem is fun. Mayhem is not delivered.
Mm.
Really, ever in my eyes.
Mm.
The very first episode in her season, she won the challenge. I was thoroughly confused by it, but everybody ate that rubber glove shit up like it was, crack. I was like, what? I was like, okay. I mean, it's cute, but I don't think it's that great. So, I really like Mayhem, and everybody says she's such a good time, and she's a great host, and blah, 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 and she does really good at performing. I'm like, but she's not delivering that.
Yeah.
Every time she's on screen, she does not come across great. She's mostly a look queen, like
Literally.
Krampus and the holiday show. Astounding, like amazing look, but girl, like you are not the first queen I think of as a great all-around entertainer. So it makes me feel bad because I'm like, you are surrounded by some amazing queens, other Rue girls in the LA area. You are known so much by all of them, and they all love you dearly. But I'm like, are they all doing right by you, girl? Like, are they being honest
Mm.
and telling you the truth and like serving you tea and saying it was okay? Or are they like, oh, girl, blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? Like.
Yeah. Yeah. I get
And
it.
so
Like,
you get a weird false sense of yourself, and like you think all this stuff, and then like that's why it's not delivering. I don't know. I don't know.
yeah. Everyone that I like, everyone who I've heard, I haven't heard Ray Station or anything like that, but that like on the pit stop with Bob and Trinity and everyone else who talks about Mayhem, they talk about her and they're so positive about her.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm with you, Gary. Like, bitch, where? Like, I I I want Mayhem to be the Mayhem I think people have talked about of her. If that makes sense. I've seen and heard people talk so much about Mayhem, and I'm not seeing it. Like everyone talks about Mayhem and that she's awesome queen, and I've seen. Let me rephrase. I have seen Mayhem be kind. I have seen Mayhem be in like other shows, and other things. Like I've seen a very like beautiful, radiant, caring Mayhem Miller, but that does not a RuPaul's Drag Race winner or All Stars winner make. There needs to be more, and I'm not. I'm not trying to be. Well, actually, I will spill tea. I don't think she's gonna last long. If this is what we're getting, and this has been your growth, I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, that was me. Gary, what about you?
Well, that kind of goes right into what I was thinking. What I wrote is who's producing whom? Because All Stars is your opportunity to show yourself, to redeem, to like glow up, to like fill in the blank. And I feel that perhaps some of these queens know exactly what their lane is.
Mm.
And they're not diverging from it. It has been infamously said that Fifi knew when she came back for All Stars that she was gonna be the villain. And that is why she came in the way she did and presented herself. And it has been said a great many times online about how Fifi in real life is not Fifi of Drag Race.
Mm.
And that is also where Jeremy has decided to stop being Fifi
Yeah.
and have a new drag persona, um, and leave that behind because of all that has come with it. And I think even Laganja has kind of like admitted, like after the fact, a couple years down the road, about how some of her antics and stuff on the show were because it's a television show, it's reality, it's what. And so I'm wondering if some of the queens and all stars are very hip to the game now and understand how television works and are no longer virgins to this whole setup. And
Yeah.
therefore, they are taking more control and dictating their personification and what can be used for the edit. And aren't really doing anything to kind of adjust or change that. And that's not really a criticism, but I'm like, some of it seems like people are, they're way too hip to what's going on and how they're handling stuff. And there's different ways to go about it. Like, for example, Jujubee, I think, is a prime example of someone who fully understands how this whole gig works, girl. She has been through it twice before. She is back again, and she is like, it's all on my terms, kids. Like,
yeah.
So
like yeah, like point blank period. I'm just gonna say this now, and this is totally shade and what have you. Jujubee knows the fucking game because you can tell by the fucking shit she's wearing. Like, she fucking, that dress that she fucking wore looked like it came from Kmart, and then like that purplish like gray hair. Not only did she wear that in the walk in, like the entrance, she fucking wore that on the runway. Same fucking hair, and all she did. I mean, granted, she sang. Now, if she had worn the same outfit, I would have been like, "Girl, like, come on."
Right.
But she wore the same hair. Like, she was like, "I ain't got time. Like, fuck this shit." Like,
well, there's kind of been some speculation that she's serving. I mean, she got, dissed on the walk-in by her own sisters about serving, Grandma Barbie realness. And I ain't mad at it. Like, Raja has let her hair grow out and has gone silver gray and been sporting that for over a year, maybe 2 years now. Like, that has become a part of her signature thing. It's like Manila and the stripe in the hair. I mean, like, everyone kind of has their thing. And if Jujubee is being much more practical and down to earth, and, she's going to serve up kind of this newer personality because she is one of the older girls, so be it, but she's an example of someone who fully understands and knows exactly what's happening. So I think she's producing herself. And that kind of boxes in the actual production by WoW Presents, because I think the more you take control of yourself and you call your own shots and how you're being seen and delivered and are in control of that in your own mind and thinking about the edit and like the filming and that, I think that gives less bandwidth for them to manipulate or to modify and stuff. And I'm not saying that's right or wrong. I'm just saying, like, it's something that you know and that you learn. I think Blair is another one of those that's kind of aware of that. India, I think, is aware, but India to me seems a lot like the India we last saw many years ago.
Ooh.
And that's not so much a read, it's just an interesting critique because and I don't know any of this drama children, so this is not the place to come for it.
Exactly.
She left drag altogether. She quit a show in Vegas, and there was this whole blah, 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 and it's in the episode about her and Nebraska and, Derek's involvement and blah. And I'm just kind of like, you know what? That's another aspect of like the production. I think Derek and India were fully aware about that being a thing and the cameras wanting that to be a thing and how to play into that thing. That's how it came across to me through the whole entire episode, including towards the end their chat and stuff. So yeah, so like I think there's some recognition, there's some awareness. Shea Coulee, girl, talk about one of the biggest glow ups of all. First of all, I don't know how much money you spent on yourself, girl, but I don't know if it's true or not, but you look like you've had shit done. I'm just calling it as I see it. You are a black woman now. I didn't quite feel that way the first time around, but I do this time.
Mm-hmm.
There's these like soft, high cheekbones. This, you know.
Yeah. She's definitely glowed up, and she's definitely done.
I don't know what happened with your mic. You got real quiet.
Oh, hold on. I bet I know. Give me 1 second. What are you doing? Are you there? Is this better?
Yeah, it's still really quiet to me.
Using the right microphone. I'm getting a lot of looks. I was like over here on my camera on Skype and where are the settings? Don't mind me. Pardon us while I check this shit out.
Is it just the actual like MPOW itself? Like,
I don't know. Hold on. It actually looks like it's catching it. I'm getting the automatically adjust microphone settings. Hold on.
oh,
Let me try something. How was that?
it's still kind of the same. Do you have the ability to turn yourself up at all? Like on the...
No. I will hit the... I just turned off the automatically adjust settings. How was that?
No different. I mean, you're just...
How was this?
A little better.
Okay, how about this?
Like, it's like incremental.
Okay, and that's the highest on the audio settings in Skype that it goes. Of course.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I don't even know. And I'll turn that. I turned the automatically adjust thing back on. How is it now?
Same.
Itch. Ugh. And then it's off, and this is at highest level. How is that?
It still sounds the same. That's just so weird.
I don't. Okay. The microphone is literally on my mouth.
It's better. I know it's not optimal for you.
But that's work. That's fine.
Yeah.
It'll do.
So yeah, I mean, I was like, girl, Shay.
I don't want to talk about a girl and not know, but something has been done, like done up
Yeah.
up here. And I mean, Shay had some very like high cheekbones to begin with in her season,
Right.
but there's a definite difference in her face.
I mean, she's now more than ever looking more like Grace Jones to me. Like, not sure what the story is. Maybe it's just that you purely lost weight, and that's how it's being shown in your face.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Like, maybe you lost weight and you had some filler done. Maybe you lost weight, had filler, and some Botox done. I don't know. Like, I'm not sure if there was a magical cocktail mix of something that came about in your life, but... Because in the very first episode, her face looks different than in Confessionals, which makes me think, like, Confessionals were recorded a little later. Because in the very first episode, like, especially when she's on stage, like, it's almost like she's wearing a mask, which is so weird to me. Like, her face looks so smooth and rounded, and I was like, what? I was like,
Oh.
was like, okay, because you giving me real Nubian like woman right now, like, and I'm kind of confused because that's not your
Well,
normal, and by normal I mean everyday, at least what I'm used to seeing kind of face.
hmm
So
well,
yeah.
like sorry. I went to Wikipedia. Um,
Mhm.
First of all, Shay outer drag is non-binary, so they use pronouns they when outer drag.
Oh,
So there's
okay.
that, and she and her while in drag. So there's that part. Secondly, um, they had corrective dental surgery in 2018. Now that's dental surgery, which we did see in the um, return,
Mm-hmm.
because if you remember Shay in her season, not the prettiest mouth. Not that I can complain. Not that I should be saying anything about that. but but I do remember that particularly. Anyway, so there's that part. And then yeah, so but that's all I see. But who knows? Who knows?
Yeah. So I mean that's she's another one that like is really, I think, aware of the production
Oh yes,
and has
definitely.
come back and been like, oh no, like it is on my terms now. Like
Mm-hmm.
like almost weirdly, like I own this show. Don't
Mm.
get it twisted, girl. Like not cocky, not like overly confident, rude, but like I mean I just it's a new Shay. Like
Mm-hmm.
she was very confident before, but there's a difference in confidence of like coming in and knowing yourself, and then there's confidence from experience.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like been here, done that, like almost got the crown.
Yeah.
And I loved her confessional where she talked about the moment she knew she lost.
As
And
the rose petals fell.
right, and apparently, according to Willem, Race Chaser, this is the story. This is the through line that Shay has said for years. Every time she has ever talked about that moment, that is exactly how she describes it
Mm.
consistently. So this is not a convenience of story for All Stars. This is literally what it has always been.
That she felt that the Sasha Velour
Mm-hmm.
reveal of the rose petals was her downfall, which is fair. I hate to say, but fair.
Well, I mean, and I think the big thing is that she recognized in that moment she got gooped. Like
Mm-hmm.
if it was back in the old Nickelodeon days, she got Slime Girl. Like right there on stage in front of everybody the second it happened. Because how could you not be impressed with what Sasha pulled off?
Mm-hmm.
Like anybody that knows that Sasha is a bald queen should have recognized, even though I didn't, the moment she walked out on stage, she got hair on, that there is something up with that. But honestly, it was so well done. But that is Sasha. She is polished. There is
Mm-hmm.
never a moment of her where she is not so well put together, like exquisitely like executed. So like in a way, Shay could probably never win. And it's
Mm.
nothing against Shay. It's like when you go up against a juggernaut, like
Yeah, exactly.
I will say a prayer for you, honey, and we'll see how it goes. But just like just like the lip sync assassin moment that we'll get to
Mm-hmm.
later.
Mm-hmm.
So, you ready to move on to the next section?
Yes.
Cover girl, put the bass in your walk. Cover girl.
All right, stomp the runway, honey. Damon, I'm really gonna need your help on this.
Uh-oh.
No runway theme?
No.
Okay.
They didn't so essentially they did the all-star variety extravaganza and they wore those looks when they were critiqued and so forth. So it was so everything that they wore was
Right.
all related to the variety show.
I was like, wait, did I miss the announcement of the theme? Because I don't remember the theme. And nothing seemed to cohesively go together for a theme. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So
that being said, since there was not a theme and what they wore for their performance is what they wore on the runway, like, what were your thoughts?
mhm. um, I expected more.
Okay.
Like there were some very fun looks, but like I just the idea of this was that it's the Work the World tour kind of thing. So I saw the Work the World tour when it came here in Cincinnati. Bob the Drag Queen was the host, um, and then they had all like Kimchi and Violet Chachki and some other girls like Eureka and all them, and it blew my like stockings away. Just the looks, the way they performed. These were not your traditional, typical just like drag, drag show performances. These were big stage like productions. So I wanted when you tell me this is the Work the World All Star Variety Extravaganza. I want more. Like I want big, and even though it's that small stage, but I still want more. Like the only thing that we got more of is we got more other people dancing around with them. Like that's really the big thing. Like
Right.
they're doing these challenges. They're able to perform if they want with like choreographed dancers who I guess they learn how to do the dances the day. I don't know. Who knows? Who the fuck knows?
Well,
Uh,
yeah, my understanding is that those backup dancers are the actual Work the World backup dancers.
ah.
So there was a beautiful tie-in of that. There was also an incredibly awkward moment in this episode that I'm going to now call up, where
Mhm.
RuPaul talks about Work the World tour, and you should go online to check out the calendar to see when it's coming to your city.
It's probably not coming to your city for a
It ain't coming.
while.
It ain't coming to nobody's city right now, girl. Like
Hmm.
that moment, I was like, oh, like my whole body cringed watching that because I was like, oh, Rue, honey, yeah, that did not go well, and you
It's what
had
it,
no way to predict it.
yeah. They could have done something. They've done that so many fucking times where they instead of the voice that's there, like
Oh,
they step away and look you're like at one of the queens and you hear like this totally different like disjointed voice saying something else.
right.
Like, you know, we've seen it. You know the edit. You know, don't act like nothing's new in
Right.
Drag Race.
Yeah.
They could have done that, but whatever. You know, they
Yeah.
went check the web instead of like giving dates or anything. They did say check the website for dates in the future, if I remember correctly. So, reality, that's kind of true. However, there are probably not going to be any dates for 2020.
Yeah.
Anyway, having said that, yeah, like that was really it. Like some of the queen, like I like some of the queen's looks. Um, oh gosh, who was my favorite? I was a big fan. Actually, I was a really big fan of Blair St. Clair's look. The eye
Mm.
makeup with the design. I'm obviously they're like probably pre-cut, but like these like filigree like eye, it
The
wasn't eyebrows, but
appliques.
this
Yeah.
applique. Thank you. And the little jewels on there with the blue hair and pulled back and just it was very pretty. Um, Due to be in her damn hair, but that's another. Um, um, I was not a fan of Derek's or Shay's.
Okay.
Like Shay's just it looked cute, but I wanted more. And those big ass heels are scary as hell. And I hate to say it, they I personally think they made the performance even worse than it already was.
Mm.
Cause
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, I mean, per Shay online, she only had 10 days of rehearsal
Mm-hmm.
at like stripper pole dancing, and that's what you get.
And
Um,
it showed.
well, right, and I mean, and that's where I was like, I'll give you the props, girl, for being daring and different and doing something that no other girl's gonna do, because I mean, you don't have a whole lot of choice. everyone's most likely going to bring what they've already done, only they're going to amp it up. So, like, if you're known for being a comedy queen, then you're going to do a comedy routine. If you're known for being a singing queen with your real voice, then you're probably going to sing. Like, if you're known for being a dancing queen, then you're just going to, like, shablam your pussy all over the damn place. And, you know, and that's just all there is to it, you know? So I understand what you mean. Like, I expected more because, like, my response was, huh. Like, some people did okay. Like, I'll just say it. Alexis Mateo, it was okay. Like, everybody was like, yes, 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 yes. And I was like, eh? Like,
I did like it.
I
And
mean, I liked it, but I was like, how, you're not bringing Carnival. You're trying so hard, girl. And I get that. But maybe if I was in the room, I would have gotten it more. But I was like, no. You just look like a big orange, like, exotic bird right now, like, you know, all over the place. So I was impressed by Blair St. Clair. I was impressed by Jujubee. I was impressed by India Farah because the edit made it seem like she was not going to do well. When in fact, of course, we got the good old switcheroo, and she did really well. And of course, did way better than Derek did, according to the edit.
And okay, no. I have to say that for later, or else I won't have anything more to say.
And then I do want to say this. So the timing of the recording of the episode and where we are today, the beginning of June, is very interesting because if we weren't in the midst of all the things that are happening in the world right now, I do not know if Mariah's performance would have had the same resonance or the same impact. And that is not me being judgmental and saying that I didn't care for it or to diminish it. I just think, like, I saw a lot of headlines online about how poignant and that, like, it was, and I was like, well, the message was important no matter what's going on in the world.
Yeah.
I also agree with Alaska and Willem on their podcast. I noticed it on the edit of the show, and it made me very uncomfortable. The tarps on the stage were not secured. So when she's spinning around and trying to dance and stuff in her bare feet on those tarps on that stage, I was like, she's going to fall her ass down. I was like, that is not safe. And they're busy moving around, and there's paint everywhere.
Yep.
Like Willem said, people in the front row, first two rows, probably got paint on them. Like, I don't know who prepared them for that. Like, and she didn't ask it, but I was thinking, like, are they Gallagher'd up? Like,
did they have the
right, the ponchos? Like you know what I mean? Because, you know, you recall, like, for those of you that don't, Google it online or, you know, Bing it, whatever your search engine preference is. Gallagher was a stand-up comedian, famously in the 80s, would do this watermelon smashing thing. And people would pay more to sit in the first few rows to get ponchos to be in the splash zone. So, like, you know, was Mariah's performance good? Yes, without a doubt. It was poignant. It had a good, like, perspective. I will say this, and I don't know if she had a choice in this. I honestly would have preferred if the paint had been more accurate in color. It was such a bright red. And I was like, the imagery is not lost on me, but I'm like, I think we're going for blood. So could we get more of a Caro syrup kind of like imitation blood color than like brighter than fire engine red? Like, I mean, it was just, it was like almost getting towards like fluorescent slightly in a way. And maybe it's the coloring and the filtering, I don't know. But like, you know, it just, and on top of it, I think she held back a little bit. And that was disappointing to me because I was like, that's a performance you need to go full on. Like,
yeah,
full on. Like, I'm praying and hoping that she practiced it a number of times. You know, because it did seem well executed. And that says to me, you rehearsed it, because I don't think hardly anybody can pull that off just naturally
like that.
Without having something put together. So yeah, I mean, I was like, huh, definitely different, you know, takes and perspectives on things.
Yeah. And I'm wondering just if part of her not being able to go all out was due to the fact that the tarps were not secure.
Well,
I mean, it's possible.
there's that.
And what else was there? And maybe also like that people didn't have splash zone preparedness,
Right.
and she was aware that the paint was going everywhere and past the tarps and under the tarps and everything else, because there was paint on the stage. Like I saw it when while she was performing, she did get paint on the stage. So, but that's really on the productions just for not securing the tarps
Oh yeah,
and
totally.
maybe not giving more consideration
Right.
for a splash zone. So,
No,
but
I
anyway,
mean, if I were there and I was part of the production staff, I probably would have been working with her and been like, okay, let's do it right. Let's do it big. Don't get too crazy. Like, don't be
hmm
flinging no paint towards the judges panel because, like, you're gonna
yeah.
be the first one out the door. But you know what I mean? Like let's deliver it to what it's supposed to be. And I really feel it was kind of like a 90 to 93% there. And I just kind of wish there was a little bit more
Yeah.
out of it. But you know, I mean, she did what she did. You could have boosted the theatricality in a different direction. You could
hmm
have had some, you know, hidden blood capsule stuff and gone that route, which I know is a little dicey because it could be considered a little more gory. But you know, come on, let's be serious. Like what
Yeah.
she's talking about is not sweet, you know, and innocent shit.
No,
So, yeah, like, and kudos to her for doing something that I didn't see coming at
I
all.
didn't either.
Like Mariah, you know, Paris Balenciaga is not known for, you know, spoken
Her,
word
her,
poetry, like, you
yeah.
know, performance stuff. I was just like, okay, got
It
it.
was definitely a choice
Yeah,
and a good one.
yeah, for sure.
All right.
You ready to move on?
Yes.
All right. So the next segment is a standard segment that we're going to talk about. I apologize now. Damon knows that we were late, and it was because I wasn't properly prepared for the audio cue. So just deal with it.
The time has come for you to lip sync for your life.
I can't hear you, Gary.
Sorry, I was trying to like take a drink and be on mute. So all-star rules are forever suspended. Actually, she says suspended forever, and it's big, dramatic, and blah 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 blah. And I like how in the workroom some of the girls are talking and they know something's up. Like they're like Rue kind of left a detail out. We just know something's about to happen. And then that's when they announce and they're on stage that it will not be the top two performing.
mm-hmm.
It will be the winner
Mm-hmm.
gets to perform against an unknown lip sync assassin.
Mm-hmm.
Someone from the Rue family is coming back.
Mm-hmm.
And if you win against the assassin, the lipstick you pick as the winner, that person goes home. If
Mm-hmm.
you don't win against the assassin, then the assassin reveals the Rumocracy majority lipstick that the rest of the cast picked as to who goes home.
mm-hmm.
Now, this did not happen in this episode, but I'm going to bring it up right now. Later this season, it's going to get all fucked up. And
Oh.
here's why.
Uh-oh.
Because if you win
Spilled
and
it.
you get to pick another queen's lipstick, and I'm part of the rest of the cast. Now, this is further down the road because we went, you know, from 10 to 9. So this is probably around when we get to 5, 6, 5, 4. This is when I predict this is going to happen. Ain't nobody going to want to go home. And the queen that's winning is going to try to eliminate probably their biggest competition. And guess who the rest of the cast might very well pick? Your ass, bitch.
Ooh.
Because if you don't win against the lip sync assassin, you gone.
Mm. Well, I don't. Okay. So it's not that simple. And the only reason I'm saying is because it looks like, so if I'm remembering the episode correctly, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, or anyone who's listening can correct me, Rue essentially picks a winner,
Mhm.
and that person goes against the lip sync assassin.
Right.
In this episode, and the reason I'm prefacing with that is in this episode, she also picked the bottom two,
Mhm.
and the queens had to pick between the bottom two. So it is entirely possible that if there's a bottom two, those are the only two lipsticks that the other queens get to pick from.
Right.
Maybe.
But by numbers, that's going to be very hard at a certain
I
point.
mean, true. I mean, it's.
Because if you get to 6 and you have a winner
Mhm.
and you have a bottom 2, then you only have 3 in between.
Mhm.
Do you know what I mean? And then you get to 5 and you have a winner and you have a bottom 2. You've got 2 in between. Like statistically, that's where it gets
Yeah.
more and more dicey. That's why I was like,
Mhm. Yeah, we'll see how it goes.
I'm not surprised by Queens talking about alliances out the gate.
Because it is, because everyone gets to vote, by the way.
Mhm.
Like, the top queen, the bottom queens, everyone votes. Like, so it's not a matter of, oh, you won, you don't get to vote with the rest of the queens. Oh, you're in the bottom two, you don't get to vote with the rest of the queens. Everyone gets to vote. Everyone at least gets a vote. But that lipstick is only picked if the assassin wins. So it's very interesting, and it is very strategic. And
Mhm.
I agree with you 100%. Alliances will be forming, things will be going, and it is going to be, I think we talked about this either after season 12, like some of the episodes, like it's going to be very much like um, Big Brother reality game show, like Survivor kind of thing. Like
Mhm.
there's going to be, like we already got one. We already found one, and I'm not at all surprised by it. Well, a little surprised, but I had a feeling that was going to be the case. But anyway, it's going to be interesting to see how this goes.
Well, and there's some politics of how you play, about how you
Mhm.
perform in the lip sync. So before we get into opinions on how the actual lip sync went, in case you didn't know, Derek Barry and Mayhem Miller are in the bottom 2.
Shocker, shocked.
Are you like serving sarcasm? Like,
Totally.
okay,
Fucking
I was
sarcasm.
like, because
Total fucking sarcasm.
no, because there's one person that I kind of agree maybe should have been in the bottom.
Angina.
Yes,
Mm.
I would have preferred if Ruth shook it up and was like there is a bottom 3, and put Angina on point right then and there. I think that would have made it even more dramatic and more dicey. Because then it becomes a matter of like who's gonna save whose ass.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, the drama of the episode was that India Farah wins. She's the overall winner, and she got money, right?
I don't know if she did. If she
Fuck,
won,
I
she didn't get the.
forgot.
I don't think she only got the money unless she wins. I mean, she wins the lip sync, because that's the way it was for in Drag Race. In All Stars past, was that.
No. She didn't get money. She got a 5-day stay in Reykjavik, Iceland.
Oh, that's right.
Right.
She won a trip.
So she got coin, but it was a prize package.
Mm.
So she didn't win like a tip, but she won something for winning overall. And then if you want the $10,000, you have to
gotta
beat
win
the
the
lip
list.
sync assassin.
Assassin. Uh-huh.
So, dun dun dun. So we get the lip sync assassin. Everybody's waiting to see who it is. All eyes are on the hazy, glass wall partition, and then it rises up.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly didn't know who it was by the feet or the legs. I was like, "Who this bitch?"
Mm-hmm.
And then
And
it's
then
revealed
revealed.
Evie Oddly.
Oh.
And the moment it's revealed it's Evie, I was like, "Oh, it's over." It was, girl. I was like, you know, she is gonna backbend pretzel fuck the shit out of this performance. You cannot win against that. Like, she will break her body on purpose to prove that she is, the queen, and she is an overall winner. And while I may not be a huge fan of her personality, like, she is talented. She can do that thing. So, and then when they revealed what the song was, which confused me, because I get that Ricky Martin's there, and so they pay homage to him and they do a Ricky Martin song, but I was like, these are drag queens? So usually we see the drag queens perform a woman's song.
Well,
And I'm not trying to be an asshole. I know I'm sounding like an asshole, but I was just like, okay, Ricky doesn't strike me as like middle of the road, like gender and stuff. Is it a big dance number? Absolutely. But like, I don't know.
it's, I will say they've done it before.
Right.
So it didn't surprise me. Given that it's all stars, I would have I I wanted some oomph, as it were. Like, and the way they're going to be doing this with this lipstick assassin and all that stuff, then they're going to kind of like add this whole other element to it. Then the lip sync song should kind of be like big.
Right.
Like, I don't want some random chick I don't know who the fuck she is. Like, I want a song that I know.
Right. But like,
But
here's just an example. I would have been perfectly fine if they had picked like a Christina Aguilera or a Shakira song.
mm-hmm. But whatever.
They're not the guest judge. I get it.
Yeah, they weren't the guest judge. So
So
that was part of the deal. That was part of the package. Ricky Martin, here's your contract. You get to show up with RuPaul during the reading challenge, kind of just stand there after showing in the glasses, and then you're just kind of there, which doesn't really make sense because no one reads you. And then you get to go back behind the thing with them. You're on the judging panel, and we get to play your song. Like, we have to play your song. Like, maybe that was the negotiation. Like,
I will. Well, I know we'll get back to him in a moment because I have something to respond to what you're saying. I have a thought. That being said, so what did you think overall about the lip sync?
So, I call this a funky twist. I think it's a very interesting like take on this. Am I enjoying it? I don't know. This is the first episode, and they kind of went, guns blazing. They brought back Evie, who's a winner, and I will admit is a well-known lip sync assassin. Like, she, it's very hard to beat her in a lip sync just because of all the tricks. Excuse me. Ooh. All the tricks and stuff that she is able to do.
Right.
She could contort her fucking body into like so many different shapes. Like, she's crazy as well. And she's like queen of like the subtle ish reveals. Like, I don't know if you like saw the pants kind of flew off and the hair, the things came off. It's very interesting. And having said that, I'm gonna be honest. India didn't stand a chance, like, at all. Like, Gay, you won, congratulations, but like, you're gonna throw classic, like drag, like classic, with like this Novu off the wall like drag performer,
Mm-hmm.
they do not mix. And it shows so well.
Right. No, and I agree. I mean, it's like I think, well, I don't want to.
Well, go ahead. You can go ahead.
I mean, what I wrote was my.
Mm-hmm.
And that's because I will say I am impressed. I like this change. I think
Mm-hmm.
it keeps everybody on their toes, including the judges. I would like for the judging panel outside of Rue to not know who the lip sync assassin is,
Mm.
because I would like genuine surprise for Michelle, Ross, Carson, the guest judge. Like, I would like all of them to be surprised as well, because I want all of us, including the judges except for Rue, to have the shock and awe moment when possibly Sasha Velour shows up, when
Mm.
Trinity the Tuck shows up, when Peppermint shows up, when, you know, these queens, when Alaska shows up, when these girls, Shangela, that you know,
Mm-hmm.
bitch, you have to die on that stage to win. Like,
Mm-hmm.
that's what this is about. To me, that is an ultimate challenge that we have
Yeah.
not seen yet. So if it means you got to call back the winners, by all means, pay
Yeah.
them the coin, get them to show up, and because what I want to see is the lip sync queen, the queen that has to go up against the assassin every single time. I want the camera on their face. I know it's already been recorded, but Sarge, if there's a power in the universe that's going to deliver this message to you backwards through time, I want you on their face, because I want to see the oh fuck moment. I want to see that every episode. I want to see the God damn it.
Damn it.
Like,
Like, I want to see the queen like hike up the boobs and like fuck you. Like just get like shit. Like those
or better yet, I want to see the comedy queen go and just walk off stage. just turn and walk right off the end of the tee and be like,
like and done.
I'm
Like
out.
out. Done.
Yeah. Or better
Bye-bye.
yet, be like, you know, just like,
Mhm.
audience, here you go. There she is. Don't look at me. Look at her.
Look at her.
Yeah. So,
But
yeah,
I-
no. I this particular twist thing is probably the freshest element, maybe in the entirety of the series.
Mm-hmm.
I just the stuff that happened in the last All Stars really, I think, set people like sour, because I think a whole lot of people felt the queens got bitchy and cunty when they got their judging power. And
Oh, well, that wasn't the last one, but the one before.
oh
Was it the one before? Or one before?
no, it was the last one.
Mm-mm.
Oh no, you're right. Not the last one. Two seasons ago.
It was two before. Yeah.
The last one was the stunt, quote unquote, the roof stunt where we had a tie.
Yeah.
I'm not mad about. It was, but see, that's the reason why I don't think about it, because how it worked out.
Mhm.
Where the 2 seasons ago of All Stars, when it was 3, when it was Trixie and Shangela didn't win, I think everybody was like, "What the fuck is that bullshit?" So I think they've been slowly. I think I predicted this before. They're slowly getting it together. They're finding their way. They're trying to fix and not make mistakes again. And I think this was one brilliant way to like shake the whole thing up.
Agreed.
And be like, oh, so you came back. Well, that's nice, bitch. Oh, you won. That's nice too. Prove you are worthy.
Prove it.
Because now it's $10,000.
Mm-hmm.
That's your tip. And India did not win. Shocker. Not really. And here's the even more ingenious part.
Yes.
Evie doesn't get the 10,000. I would have died if Evie got the 10,000, because then I would have been like, "Oh, you want to piss everybody off? That's how you do it. You give the assassin the money for one gig, one number,
Uh-huh. I would have just been like, okay, bitch, like sign me up for being a lip sync assassin. Like come in here, do
Right,
one number and blow the house down and like
right. So
cash.
instead, they announced that the money's going to roll over to the next week's performance.
Mm-hmm.
So here's where it gets cray cray. If it takes till the 5th episode for someone to win the assassin and beat them, they're going to walk with 50K
Fifty
coming to them.
$50,000.
Right. And you don't even have to win the damn season. So, and if you're really damn good, you will win the lip syncs and win overall, which means potentially, if the math serves right, 200K. Could be.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, Miss Derek Barry sachets away.
Oh.
And if you watched Untucked, which, by the way, shame on you, WoW Presents. I'm a little annoyed. The whole thing was going to go to Showtime. Then it doesn't go to Showtime. Then it goes to VH1. And if you don't watch it live, you can't get Untucked on iTunes, which is a yay because I don't have to fucking pay for it. But then I had to wait to try to find it online. And lo and behold, it's on the website. It's not on YouTube. It's not it's such a pain in the ass to find it. But you do get to watch Untucked. And Untucked is important to Siege and Kittens because they revealed everybody's lipstick
Mm-hmm.
when they picked it. I think that was the biggest Tabibi Zahara Benet stunt that you are never going to get away with not showing the lipstick.
So fucking true. Like I'm sitting here like when they showed that in Untucked, and I was just like, oh, so that's what we're gonna do. Okay. Okay. So like the audience will know. And I'm just sitting here thinking like of all the potential drama that can come in play here, like you can fucking lie. Like, I totally didn't pick your lipstick, bitch. Whatever, we know you did. Like I could see that being a thing. Like, I want to be your friend. I want to be your buddy. Let's be an alliance. I never would have like sent you home, ever, ever, ever. No, no, no. Boom. We know. We all know. We already done known.
Well, I also appreciated that when they gave Evie the lipstick and when she pulled it out, it had a paper sleeve around it.
Mm-hmm.
So she couldn't see who it was. I wondered because they were going to give it to her, and I was like, oh, that's kind of cruel that Evie knows ahead of time who's going to go home if she wins.
Yeah.
And then I saw like when she pulls it out, and I was like, oh, I like this very much.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
I like
it's
that
covered
too.
up. I also appreciate that Evie did not miss a beat. Like, so she says, you know, blah, blah, blah. She pulls it out. She takes the slip off. She reads it. She shows it. Like, doesn't even do like big dramatic pause for television.
Mm-hmm.
She just boop, boop, boop without a, you know, just calls it.
Uh-huh.
Because I was like, well, that's classic Evie. Because Evie don't give no fucks. So
I
she's
mean,
just like,
and to be blunt, why should the assassin give a fuck?
right.
Like, that ain't their season. They already got theirs.
Well, I just realized the biggest drama yet to come, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think you could plan this appropriately. I mean, well, you could, but it's really expensive. If all the assassins were flown out for the filming for the same time frame and the filming was done super quick, because there's only 10 queens, so there's only going to be like, what, 8 episodes roughly?
8 or so, yeah.
Which means they were there for probably about 2 to 3 weeks.
Okay.
So if they did it right and they planned it appropriately and they got all the assassins out there in the same time frame to overlap, they could pick the assassin to go against who's going to win. Now, here's my setup. Shea Coulee wins. Sasha Velour is the assassin.
Bitch. Bitch. Bitch.
You know that's what the producers would do. They will totally make that happen. They will make it the showdown of all showdowns.
Loving it. Loving it. Loving it. Like, that would be the thing. Like, fucking A, that would be awesome if they could do it that way, like that succinctly. Like, all the assassins are in their hotel, probably a separate hotel,
Mm-hmm.
and like they tell them to get in drag, you know, it doesn't matter. Maybe it doesn't really matter what song, whatever you kind of thing. You know the songs, like you get all the songs. You know you
Right.
should know them. You're the assassin. You should know them. And then here you go. Like, okay, who's the winner? Oh, it's Shea Coulee. All right, bring in Sasha Velour. Okay, and like someone calls the room, comes up to a producer comes up to the room, knocks on Sasha's door. Like, Sasha, you're next up next. You got 20 minutes. Like, and then down you go into the room. You come in, you get the lipstick from the other producer. They film you doing that. Then you go up on stage, curtain up.
I also
It's
am
not
curious.
impossible.
What's that?
It's not impossible.
Oh, I know. I can't wait to be right. But um, I honestly, I haven't read anything online, but that's just like me in this moment, like trying to predict some major drama. I would really like to know whether or not the assassins know who they're going to perform against, or if they find out when that scrim, that divider comes up, because that also would be crazy.
Yeah.
So, so Derek Barry Sasha is away. And notably, she turns around when she leaves and she says, "It's All Stars. This might not be the last you see of me." And I was like, "All right, she know,
Uh-huh.
she know how this usually goes."
Yeah.
All right, you ready for the last segment?
Sure thing.
All right, snaps and eye rolls, aka hits and misses, the high points and the low points of the episode. Mr. Damon, what do you got snaps for?
So I actually have some snaps from Mr. Ricky Martin. Like, it was really good to see him in his gay, fabulous self. You know, being that sexy Ricky Martin that we all know and love. Like, it was so good to see him in this element. So kudos to him for getting on the show and then paying the coin to put him on the show because that wasn't cheap.
Right.
Um,
So I want to talk about Ricky for just a moment.
Go for it,
This is
honey.
where I said I was going to wait to say something later. Having Ricky up was great. The man is still gorgeous. He's been aging well. I will say that I am notably disappointed in the strategic choice of apparel that he was dressed in for this episode. He is a sex symbol. Everybody knows this. You can't tell me how many tongues were wagging and how many eyes were glued on that son of a bitch to see his crotch. And what is he wearing? Some of the boxiest, biggest clothing ever existing to fit his frame. I was like, is he even underneath those clothes? Like, there was like no definition, no silhouette, no body shape, not a booty to be seen hardly, not a nothing. I was like, girl. I was like, that's really disappointing.
Bring back Guillermo.
Oh, all right. I support that. I mean, I've seen more of Ricky in his Instagram photos than I did on this episode. I was like, for real? Give me a break. I've seen that man in a Speedo next to a pool with his beautiful children. That's my criticism. I don't disagree with your snaps. I'm very happy that he's there.
You're just like, I wanted to see the whole package.
I wanted to see Ricky and not just like from the neck up. That's really, I felt like what we got delivered. It was weird.
Yeah.
It's like they played down his like sexism. Like his
maybe
sexiness.
if you like, that was like my biggest thing. Like, I was almost like, it would have been fun if they had done like a reveal, Like when he came in, because he was supposed to be the pit crew, and
Mm.
he came in, and Ricky came in, and he's wearing that, and like all it would have taken was like a quick like unbutton, and you've got like a shirt, and I would have been okay with that. Granted, I would have liked to have seen more, but at least then like you got something.
Right.
Maybe he just was having an off day. Who knows? Too many carbs, whatever. Anyway.
Mm.
My other snaps go to India slaying.
Mm.
So I'm in Cincinnati when India was on the show in season three.
Yeah, she
Three.
was, I think, 3.
Yeah, season 3. Sorry, I had to look at my notes again. She was out of Dayton originally. She's in
Oh,
Vegas now, but originally she was out of Dayton, so she was a local ish
yes.
queen to me. So
Okay.
when she got on the show, everyone was having her like losing their shit when she was on the show.
Mm-hmm.
And when she left, they were like, "Oh shit!" And then, but I was really impressed with her performance in the variety show. The edit kind of gave you like this, "Oh, she's not going to do well" thing. She's so nervous, blah blah blah, which is to be expected considering if the whole story is true that she quit drag for a while, she wasn't doing it, and then she comes back, and she's definitely a old school like drag queen, like big hair, high makeup, like breastplate,
Mm-hmm.
you know, leotard costumes, ruffles, feathers, all that shit. Like she's definitely an old school queen. Um, and I was okay with that. Like I was very much like enjoying her story arc in this episode. I'm glad she won. I'm hoping we see a bit more of her.
Mm.
And I know the drama with her and Derek is now gone because Derek's gone. But I liked what I saw this episode. Kudos to her for coming back and doing this thing. If anyone, I'm just going to put this out there, if anyone knows like all of the tea, because there are so many things that were thrown out in that little spat that they had in the workroom.
Right.
Like she was quitting drag and she was talking negatively about all the queens on like Facebook and RuPaul's Drag Race and being very negative about Drag Race overall. And then she comes back. Like if someone has the tea on all that, I would love to see it because
Mm.
Alma loves her tea. Just saying. Gary.
So I'm giving snaps for Talent Abounds.
Mm.
It's All Stars, bitches. So it's not a regular season where we have to figure out
Mm-hmm.
what the story is with these queens. We already know their stories, and they just deliver more.
Mm-hmm.
It's like going up for seconds at a buffet. Like you go back for what you like. And you and I said when they announced the cast, which they did too fucking early in my opinion still. When they announced the cast, I was like, yes, like this is a season to watch because there are so many like crafty, talented, entertaining like queens. I was like, all right, all right. Like I knew it was on when they announced Shay, and I was like, oh shit, here we go. Like, and then they start running through the list, and I was like, oh, interesting. All right, wow, like very, very intriguing. So I'm happy that we've got this season to see where it goes, and they delivered in this episode. I don't think anybody royally fucked it up, although one or two came kind of close. But in every season, there's got to be like high performers, and there's got to be, honey, can you go out and warm up the crowd before the show begins? Thank you. And that's really how I felt about like a couple of them. And I wasn't mad about it. I was a little disappointed, but then again, I was like, well, I don't know what I'm expecting.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. So,
huh. Go for you.
Eye rolls. And I mean, I'm not surprised by
Mine.
yes. I mean, I think the whole nation had these, but go ahead.
Um, so my eye rolls are, "Hey, Derek," um, and it's pretty much all about Derek Barry. So number one, my biggest issue, and I mentioned this in the Entourage chat. The purpose of All Stars is usually to show your glow up, your growth, your change, your desire. When you left your season, the
Mhm.
thing you said is, "I was trying to get out of the Britney box. I hope to get out of the Britney box." Like that was your big thing, Derek. Like I'm not quoting for verbatim, but that was kind of the thing. Like you were wanting to get out of your Britney box, and you got to the end of your season. You walk into the workroom of All Stars 5, and what do? You come in a suit a la a Britney Spears video. You rip it off, and you've got a seat like a nude illusion outfit, kind of a la Britney. Your hair is long like Britney. You look like fucking Britney, and you say, "Oops, I did it again," like Britney. Number one.
Ooh, she got a list. Everybody, all right, get ready.
Number two, the we get to your variety show performance, and you don't do Britney, but instead you go through a litany of impersonations, quotation marks, of various female and drag queen personas you know, and you try to do these half-ass quick fire impersonations that, unless you like you were given the fucking name for it each time, I wouldn't have known who the fuck you were talking about. But you're now, again, you're not only impersonating Britney, you're now impersonating all these other people. Not well, but you're impersonating all these other people. I expected more from you, so much more, going into a All Stars season. And that's, I think, the part that I'm getting the eye rolls for, is that you wanted to get out of this Britney box, yet you seem to kind of put yourself in it consistently and then close the latch. Like you're still in this box and you are not breaking out of it. Like you could have done so many things. You could have done something else differently. Even if you had like just worn a different color hair. Something to like give us the impression that you are not Britney impersonator Derek Barry. You are Derek Barry, drag queen performer. And I'm just like I'm bothered by that. And I do hope maybe you get to come back if that's going to be something that happens this season. And if you do get to come back, maybe you'll give us a different look. Like just something else, like something other than Britney, because we know you can do Britney. We know you do Britney well. Let's see something else. Like, give me something else. You've had what, 4 seasons to glow up, to change, to do something else. And if you want to stay that way, if you want to stay Derek Barry as Britney impersonator, that's fine. That's all good. Like that's where your moneymaker is. Like go for it. But don't go out and don't come on a show indicating that you're wanting to change up and do something different and be something different and be your own drag queen and give us that. Okay. You all should see Carrie's face right now. Yes.
So the first thing I have to say to that is go back to the first segment and what I said then. For those of you that don't recall, who's producing whom? I think Derek very well knows how this game gets played, and I think Derek very well knows like what her character is and what her portrayal is. So I was not surprised to see the tears. I was not surprised to see the like, I'm just trying to break out of a box and blah blah blah, and I did these things differently, but nobody sees it. I guess I'm just stuck being Britney forever. Okay, boo. In the famous words of another drag queen, act a fool, girl, act a fool. And that's partially what I think it is. I think she produced herself, and I think she acted. I think she played the role that she was meant to play. I think she knew coming into the season that she had no chance of winning, and that she was there to fill a specific thing. And I think she was successful. So... Second to what you had to say, I'm like, I'm not playing a game. I'm not in this. I am just merely an observer. So if this is how you want to be portrayed, you go right ahead. Because from now on, I'm expecting Britney or you to look like Britney and try to be Derek because that's what got delivered. I don't know what else to say, girl. So, and I ain't got no complaints, you know? Some girls are good at being specific things. You are not in the path of Chad Michaels.
Fact.
Chad is known for being Cher. Chad is also known for being a jack of all trades in impersonations of others and has crafted really hard to do that. And while you aspire and love Chad, you are not following that path. I don't even want to talk about equivalency because that's impossible.
Fact.
To follow in those footsteps, you are not really going that direction, and I don't have a complaint about that. I'm just stating fact. So yeah,
fact.
That's that.
Fact.
All right.
What about you?
My eye rolls. I didn't really think about this, and what I wrote down was drama wama.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever.
Oh.
Whatever.
Ooh.
What the fuck ever.
Ooh.
You mad at me. You mad at me. You said this. Well, you said this. Well, you did this. I don't blah, blah, blah. Blah, 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 blah. That's what it was.
Girl, go ahead.
Pissing all over each other in front of the mirrors. What the fuck ever. I'm watching Derek's face, and even in the moment where she's like, well, you called her a pig in a wig. And I was like, oh, that was pushing it toots. Like, that was like for the camera. That was like forced, like borderline, like acceptable. Like, and I was like,
Even this fan.
Yeah, I'm like,
I love it.
I'm like, no, girl. Like, so now I'm like, all right, well, she gone. Now the drama should be done. And now the new drama that's supposed to be is that it's going to get revealed that Jujubee picked Mayhem.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I still ain't going to care. Because Jujubee's playing the game. And Jujubee don't care either. Like,
I mean,
so,
true.
You know.
And we already know they're fine. Like, I'm just gonna say that. Like, say that right now. Like, we already know they cool because thank you, Monet Exchange Rate Show, because it's Jujubee, Derek, and Mayhem, and Jujubee and Mayhem. Fine.
Right. Well, they're mature adults and they know it's a game.
Also that.
So that's why I'm like, it's television production drama. Whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's not at the level yet, but it's starting to get in the direction of Real Housewives kind of drama. Like produced, directed, created, like, you know, modified, blah, blah, blah. And what's sad about it is most of the drama over all the seasons of RuPaul's Drag Race has been created, but in such a way that we didn't know it was created until years later, and the NDA expires, and then the queens start spilling all the tea. and Fifi and Sharon spill the tea and say, "Oh yeah, that whole thing was made up. Like we weren't really mad at each other. Like and we were kind of asked, and so we did blah 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 blah. So the Party City thing is not real.
Mm.
Go check it out, children." So right. So that's why I'm like, okay.
What?
Now
One
I
of the
will
most
say,
famous fights in Drag Race history was
right.
fake?
Imagine that.
Clutch the pearls.
But there are other moments I think of authenticity that happen, and that's just because sometimes you cannot win against a queen who is better, faster, craftier, wittier, more talented, more intelligent than you. Like, fill in the blank, girl. They are more than yet of you. And one of the most infamous ones was Bianca Del Rio.
Mm-hmm.
Rarely can anybody out that queen, no matter what it
Mm-hmm.
is. I mean, well, she admits she's not a good lip syncer. But, you know.
Oh, that's right.
Don't complain in front of her. Don't try to come for her.
I did like that moment in it was in Pit Stop, and it was in Pit Stop, this recent one, the finale for
Season 12.
All Star for season 12. And she kind of brings up because she's talking to Bob, and Bob knew for a fact that she can't lip sync, and they kind of like joke, and they're talking about like would they have been able to do the lip syncs that the queens in season 12 did, or any of the changes that they've done in recent seasons, and Bianca kind of admits no, she would not be able to. She's not that great a lip syncer. She probably would not have won.
Right.
If it were up to the lip syncs.
Right. Well, I mean, and so that's kind of where, I mean, one of my favorite moments that I'm alluding to is when Bianca says, what is one thing you do well? Quickly.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's paraphrased. It's not accurate, but that's what I mean by like, oh, bitch, do not. Because that's the type of like cutthroat moment you cannot survive.
Mm-hmm.
And that to me is an authentic, bitchy kind of fighty moment that was like germinated and real in the time that it happened. But there are many other things where I'm just kind of like, oh, girl, please. And I'm not complaining about it. I'm like, I'm just not one who's always like, drinking or slurping it up and being like, yes, more. Okay.
And I think that's one of the things that you and I kind of have in common. Like I live for the moments, but it doesn't affect me as much as it probably did. Like in the earlier seasons, maybe like, ooh, let me see that drama. Like the fight, like the Fifi and Sharon, like, fight. That was my thing. Like, oh shit. But now, like, having been watching it and hearing the queens talking about things and how things are really going on, and some of the editing and everything else, it's kind of like, all right, okay, like the India Derek thing, I do want to know about it, but just for knowledge, like what all was said, what all happened, what was the tea, what was the actual tea,
right? Like who has the receipts of the real timeline?
Yeah. Because that's kind of because I want to know more for, like I said, more for my knowledge benefit,
right?
Than for like to have the popcorn and eat the popcorn and have the drama.
Yeah.
All right.
So that's it, children. Long episode for the first one of All Stars, but we had a lot to talk about. I mean,
oh yeah,
to be honest,
for sure.
it's All Stars. Speaking of talking, there's plenty of ways you can get in touch with us. You can go to our website, which is cubsoutloud.com. You could actually talk to us virtually in a way. You could give us a ring and call 361 COL Talk. That's 361-265-8255. Leave us a voicemail. We'd be happy to play it on the show and talk about it. Or you could do it, the moderately old-fashioned way, and you can actually send us an email to cubsoutloud@gmail.com. Social medias, just type in Cubs Out Loud as one word: Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, all that jazz. As Damon previously alluded to it, we have an Entourage social chat group going over on